You ever see flashing red and blue lights through your living room window and just know deep down before a single siren even wails that your life is about to change forever? Yeah, that was me standing barefoot on the porch of a mansion I bought for $1 paint still drying on my hands. And the kind of dread in my stomach you only get when you realize you're about to be on the wrong end of a story folks will be whispering about for years. Now listen, the auction slip said $1, which felt like a joke when I signed it, but that single dollar came with 15 grand in back taxes and a future so tangled up in trouble I didn't know if I should laugh or run. But that night the trouble wasn't a number. It pulled up in 3 police cruisers' engines, idling radios, spitting static, and a woman in pearls shouting at the gate like she was summoning the ghost of her father's estate. Mara Jennings. Yeah, that Mara, president of the Willow Creek Homeowners Association, stood there clutching at the fence and hissing about stolen property. Her son, grinning wide like he was filming a reality show, kept his phone aimed at me the whole time. The officer asked for proof I belonged, and I handed over my crumpled deed from the county, still smelling faintly of courthouse dust. He read it, nodded once, and told Mara the house was mine. She stared at me, voice shaking perfume thick in the evening air. "You'll regret this, Mr. Cole. You have no idea what you've stepped into." Let me back up a sec. My name's Evan Cole. Before I ever picked up a hammer or clashed with the HOA, I was a firefighter, a good one too, or at least I thought so, until the day I couldn't save my wife Laura and our daughter Grace from a fire that tore my world in half. You ever lose everything in a blink and keep walking through the ashes just to see if there's a reason left? That was me. I left the firehouse and took up odd jobs. Anything to keep my hands from shaking and my mind from drifting. Laura always loved old houses, would stop the car to stare at some boarded-up relic and say, "You just have to listen long enough, Evan." So one night, numb with grief, I bid on a condemned mansion, Raven Hill Manor. $1 half joking, never expecting to win, but I did. That old place was a wreck floorboard soft as bred raccoons living in the attic windows shattered and crawling with vines. Still beneath the mess, you could feel it breathing hand-hewn beams, stone fireplaces blackened by a century of storms, copper nails glinting in the morning sun. Fixing that house felt like fixing myself one broken plank at a time. Some days I'd catch myself talking to Laura, telling her about the way the light hit the new floors or the smell of cedar drifting through the halls. I poured every piece of me into making the house stand again, neighbors showing up with casseroles and paintbrushes, asking if I'd seen any ghosts. I'd just laugh. "Not yet, but I'll call if one starts swinging a hammer." For a while, it was peaceful early mornings with black coffee hands aching from honest work dinners at Murphy's Cafe, listening to Tom, the owner, trade stories about life in Willow Creek. Tom became my friend, loaned me tools, gave me advice, and when Mara's name came up, just shook his head. She runs the HOA. In this town, that's as good as running the law. I brushed it off. Thought maybe small-town drama wouldn't find me. Not after everything I'd been through. But, oh, it found me. Mara rolled up in a black Range Rover, pearls flashing like warning lights, clipboard in hand, her son filming from the driveway. "Mr. Cole, this property is under our jurisdiction," she said, all sugary and sharp. I wiped my hands and told her the county paperwork said otherwise. She gave me that HOA smile, tight, practiced, never quite touching her eyes. "We maintain community standards," she purred. "Historic preservation zones." Her son Trevor kept snapping pictures, muttering about documentation. The way she looked around the porch like she was already picking out drapes made my skin crawl. She talked about her grandfather, helping build the south wing, called it family history, then asked for my permits. I showed her every one signed and stamped. "County permits don't override neighborhood covenants, Mr. Cole," she warned. I told her there were no covenants on this land, checked it myself. She just smiled, slow and dangerous. When you dig too deep, you find things best left buried. I wanted to laugh, but there was something about her voice that made the hair on my arm stand up. Then came the envelope, thick with fake authority, and that same sickly perfume. Cease and desist. Unauthorized construction. $500 a day fine. The kind of thing designed to scare someone right off their own porch. But I'm stubborn. I checked the county site, no HOA, no heritage district, nothing. Mara's power came from making people believe she had it. Tom shook his head when I showed him the letter. Same trick she pulled last year. Most folks pay up just to keep the peace. But not me. I went digging through deeds tax records and the county courthouse itself. The HOA's charter had expired 5 years back. No authority. Mara was running a ghost operation, bluffing her way into people's pockets. Mrs. O'Leary, who ran the antique shop, whispered that Mara had been grabbing land for years, especially since the developers started sniffing around town. That's when the real war began. 3 nights after the letter, someone shattered my windows and spray-painted "thief" in red across the front wall. Cops blamed, local kids shrugged, told me to file a report. I bought cameras, locked every door. That's when I caught Trevor Mara's son on camera flashlight bobbing through the yard, another figure waiting by the gate. They circled the house, tried the basement door I'd nailed shut. Whatever they were after, it wasn't just about neighborhood harmony. It was about secrets, old ones. That basement had always seemed odd to me. Door half hidden behind drywall initials, carved deep in the stone, EB. One afternoon, while replacing a floorboard, I found a hidden compartment, a tin box sealed with wax, the same initials. Inside a locket, a carpenter's ruler, and a bundle of old letters tied with blue ribbon. The first letter stopped me cold. To whoever finds this home and its story, know that it was built by free men for the sake of freedom itself. Signed, Elijah Brooks, Master Carpenter, 1873. There were land grants, seals, letters telling the story of freed black craftsmen and Union veterans who built Raven Hill under federal reconstruction. The land was protected. Federal covenant, equity grant, everything. You ever have history fall into your lap so hard it knocks the air out of you? That was me. Paper spread across the table, realizing this wasn't just a fight about property, it was a fight about erasure. Mara's heritage story was nothing but a smokescreen for what her family tried to erase. I brought the documents to the archives in Millbrook. The clerk stared at the pages. If this paperwork holds, your land is protected. No HOA, no county, not even the state can overrule it. I drove home with history in the passenger seat, felt Laura's presence in every patch of sunlight. This house wasn't just old, it was sacred, and now I had something worth fighting for. Mara struck back fast, lawsuit in hand, fake will attached, claiming ancestral rights to Raven Hill. But her evidence was a mess. Wrong ink, modern printers, notary stamps from the wrong decade. I called Lydia Holt, a property attorney sharp as barbed wire. She saw through the forgeries in minutes, guessed there was money behind Mara's sudden crusade. We dug through courthouse records, tracked developer contracts, followed a money trail from Mara's HOA to a company called Greystone Developers who'd pay millions for a slice of the riverbank. That's what this was all about. Not family history, just another payday. Lydia filed a counterclaim looped in the FBI's Historic Property Division. When the agents arrived, they went through every letter, every deed. If these are genuine, this isn't just a property dispute. It's an attempt to defraud the federal government. We found the law that sealed it, a congressional act from 1873 signed by President Grant declaring Raven Hill a federally protected heritage site. No HOA, no local board, nothing could touch it. Lydia built our case like a general. Every piece of proof laid out timelines, grants, forgeries, money trails. Mara called a public HOA meeting to restore her family's legacy. We let her talk first, watched her lawyer wave forged documents, listened to her rewrite history for an audience itching for a scandal. Then Lydia stood calm as stone and dropped the hammer, presented the Federal Equity Preservation Act, the proof of Ravenhill's true origin, the forgeries, the expired HOA charter, the money trail. The room went dead silent. Mara lost her cool, started shouting right as the FBI agents walked in, rain slicking their coats. They arrested her on the spot, her son white-faced and stunned. You ever see a bully fall? It's not loud. It's just final. The HOA dissolved within weeks. The mansion was listed on the National Historic Register plaque shining in the sun. The town changed. Neighbors stopped by, not with casseroles, but with pride. Tom's Hardware put up a sign, "Support local builders, not bullies." Mrs. O'Leary sold photos of the restoration to raise money for veterans. I started a foundation for historic black craftsmanship, handed out scholarships to kids who wanted to build something that lasts. And you know, sometimes at sunset, I sit on that old porch, coffee in hand, river gold in the light, and think about Laura, about promises that outlast storms, about houses that remember every laugh, every lie, every battle, and every act of courage. This place isn't just wood and stone. It's proof that the truth once uncovered can outlive any lie. If you've ever gone to war with an HOA or just stood up for what's yours, tell me where you're watching from. Drop your story below. Because these stories, they don't end in a courtroom. They live on in everyone who refuses to back down. And sometimes the house wins. So what do you think? Is justice just a piece of paper, or is it something you build one beam, one truth, one fight at a time? Let me know below, because out here some houses remember, and so do we.